I'm Mattias Martens. I'm here to read you something. I've been reading you things for the last little while, and I'm now about to tell you about my ulterior motive for doing so. My real goal was to get more comfortable writing, so that I could eventually become comfortable reading my writing. And I'd like to do that for you today. I'm going to read you something from my book, How to Do Things with Stories, which is just about to be published. There will be details about the publication in the description. How to Do Things with Stories is inspired by my experience writing stories. I've written 3 novels, published 1. I have a short story out as well. I was going to say novelita, because I think that's supposed to be the one between novella and short story, but it's like, I can't remember it, and you probably won't know what that means, so why even go there? There's a type of doubt that strikes someone when they publish something, which is, how do I persuade other people to buy my book, right? Like, why should they invest their time and money in what I wrote? And I really struggled with that. I struggled with that to the point that it sabotaged my attempts to promote the book. I took a long time thinking about that question. There were a couple of insights from different areas of my life that all came together, and they formed the core of what I write about in How to Do Things with Stories. Now what I'm doing is I'm publishing this book about stories in the hopes that it will meet some people in that doubt that I experienced, whether they be storytellers of any kind or artists of any kind, and provide some degree of comfort and some degree of direction. So, with that, I'm going to read to you the introductory chapter of How to Do Things with Stories. To be an artist, so they say, is to climb an uncharted inner mountain and wait for visions. There are no rules to creative achievement, no systems or processes that consistently bring success. The content of a work is the riddle of the artist's soul. But an artist, or a prospective artist, might well ask, if art is so mysterious, what is its value? If it is the product of an unknowable soul, how can it mean anything to others? And how can some art come to be seen as better, more directly? What am I doing? How can I get better at it? Can I get better at it? What is it for? These are haunting questions, and not only for artists. But artists suffer these doubts acutely. In order to numb the pain of self-doubt so that art can go on being made, writers have created the genre of artistic self-help. Books with titles like How to Be an Artist, How to Be a Novelist, How to Write Creatively, and so on, to provide answers to the central questions of an artist's purpose. This genre usually resorts to more art. They begin with the inner mountain, as before, but they adorn it with valleys and streams and shaded glens, with ogres and shepherds and knights templar. If the effort is a success, it is because the writer finds hidden in the metaphors something that resonates with the metaphors within herself, and gives her the resolve to carry on. Ultimately, I find this approach unsatisfying. If you find it unsatisfying too, then you are reading the right kind of book, or listening to the right kind of book. I find it unsatisfying because it answers soul-searching questions about art from within the artistic mode. As encouraging as that might be to the fully committed artist, it does little for someone who is already at the edge of art, questioning its importance, its value. She may ask, whatever it is that I am doing as an artist, does it really bring value to the world? Why not use writing in ways that have more obvious effects, like becoming a journalist or promoting a non-profit, to answer the question of purpose, rather than simply pushing it into the pages of someone else's book? It's necessary to step outside the world of the pure artist long enough to consider the concerns of a practical person living their practical life. What is it that practical-minded people care about? They care about doing things. Accordingly, this book dedicates itself to the question of the practical-minded artist. How can I do things with art? In this book, we will focus on one art form, storytelling, and one medium, the written word. At times, we'll also discuss plays, screenplays, and song lyrics in their written form. I hope it will become clear that it's possible to apply the principles we will learn in any context where language is used creatively, be it a personal letter, an obituary, or a reflective essay. More than this, I hope that by the end of this book, I will have said something valuable about the whys and wherefores of art in general, even art that has no use at all for words. So, what is the answer? How do we do things with stories? To answer that question clearly and fully, I will, unfortunately, require no less than the first 4 chapters of this book. Nevertheless, I offer a preview. 1. Art uses ambiguity to invite the reader to form interpretations, thereby creating meaning. 2. Stories challenge the reader's evolving interpretations by inducing and then resolving tension. An episode of tension opens questions in the reader's mind that linger on after the tension has been resolved, permanently altering their mental world. You may now be thinking, so much for practical-minded. I agree that this principle may seem a bit arcane. I will show that it can be used for practical ends. Still, my intention is not to mislead. There must always be an element of the arcane in art. The creative mode is one of many ways that we humans explore our relationship with the unknown. Breaking away from order and abandoning good sense is an irreducible part of that process. The sacred Inner Mountain writers surely have got one thing right. There is no instruction manual for a work of art. My intention here is not to do the impossible and write one. Rather, I want to show that the arcane aspect of art is compatible with acting with a known purpose. We can still have an impact, and we can even know to some degree what that impact will be. Think of the advice in this book like a buoy out on a choppy sea. Whether you be an endurance swimmer or a recreational dog paddler, every now and again everyone needs to come back to a place of rest and support. Together, we'll build a solid structure in that sea. Something you can take hold of after a hard day spent awash in the waves of creation. May you use it to steady yourself with a sense of place, a sense of what you are doing, why you are doing it, and how it fits in to the broader world of human labors. I've been Mattias Martens. Thank you so much for listening, and check the description for details about how to do things with stories.